Military begins rehabilitation reintegration of fresh 559 ex-Boko Haram fighters into the system. Um, Good morning once again, and thank you for joining us on Serious Matters. This is ONIF TV. My name is Olukunle Abraham, and of course, we are going to be looking at this idea of the ex-Boko Haram fighters, about 559 of them, being reintegrated into the system. How how beautiful is the idea? How wise is that idea? Because when we talk about an ambushment, if there's an ambushment, which of course we had lost, soldiers and even top, military officials. We even lost a major to an ambushment lately, a general rather. And so, when you talk about an ambushment, there must have been a leakage of information, of movements and all of that. And I don't know, maybe it's just my mind or it's just me thinking this way that this idea of reintegrating these guys especially into the system, is really, it looks somehow to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just one that's just thinking this way, and I feel we should just talk about it now. The military High Command on Tuesday revealed that at least 559 former members of Boko Haram fighters are currently undergoing rehabilitation under one of its programs being handled by Operation Safe Corridor, called deradicalization, rehabilitation, and reintegration (DRR) in Gombe State. Now it's been on the news. A lot of insinuations have gone viral, saying that the ex-Boko Haram fighters have been reintegrated into the military. Making them to become military officers and all of that, and making them to fight in the army. And well, we don't know how true that is, but then if that is the case, then we'll be sleeping with our roofs on fire, and that's not very safe. That's not very safe. Except a thorough integration or thorough investigation have been done, and a thorough checkup has been done to be sure that these people are actually, so that we're not opening ourselves up to the enemy. Remember a story in the Bible where when Joshua was in charge, and there were some people called the Gibeonites who came around and pretended to be this and that, and they said we are this, and so on and so forth, only for Joshua and the Israelites to discover later that they were not actually who they said they were, because talk is cheap, but the consequences could be very, very disastrous and expensive. And so you remember that Joshua had to, and because they already had a covenant with them, but they already had an agreement with them, it became very difficult for Joshua to send them up, because they already had a covenant with them. And of course, the Israelites can be, when it comes to covenants, it's a very, very big deal. So they don't take covenants for a joke. And so they were not able to, but they stopped. They just said, well, you guys will be good quarters among us. You'll be fetching water. And that's what they have always been doing. Now, why I brought that up is this: bringing these guys into the system. I don't know. I'm not saying that they should go and wipe them. They should go and kill them. I mean, a lot of them have died, and yet we still have so many of them still fighting in the forest. And people are being, they're still kidnapping people. They're still killing people. They're going by different names. Some say they are bandits. The other ones say they are terrorists, and so on. I swap and all of that. I still believe that they are all, the same thing, or just having different groups and different names. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Lucky Rabo, who disclosed this at Defense Headquarters Abuja during stakeholders meeting of OPSC, he's also dismissed reports claiming that some of the over 1,000 rehabilitated ex-Boko Haram fighters have been recruited into the military army. I mentioned that earlier on. Yes, it is in the news. It's in the news that they have been recruited into the army. Well, he has dismissed that report that it is not true. It is not true because for me, I see it as it looks like a breach of security. Bringing these guys into the system. Are you sure they won't be communicating with their people at the other end? Are you sure they won't be giving informations about those people still communicating with them? Would they not be able to brainwash them? And you know what I'm talking about. And so he also he had dismissed that. Well, Daily Trust, credit to them, reported that there had been concerns in some quarters over alleged recruitment of rehabilitated ex-fighters into the military and paramilitary agencies. But the military has consistently described the concern as unfounded, saying there are stringent safeguards put in place to prevent such from happening. Irabel, who was represented at the meeting by the Chief of Defense, Training and Operation Major General Adeyemi Yekini, maintained that one of such ex-fighters would as well as be recruited into any of the sister security services in the country. According to him, OPSC had improved the program's principle, practices, and procedures over the years, making the initiative a model that had been replicated in all the Lake Chad basin countries, adding that it has also elicited the interest of both local and international bodies, including the academia. He said the DRR program consists of psychological humanitarian treatment that reassures and provides alternatives to low profile combatants through psychosocial, psychospiritual therapies, recreation, vocational trainings, and introductory Western education, thereby countering Boko Haram terrorist ISWAP ideologies and reducing their recruitment drive while depleting the critical mass of their fighting force, and which of course I believe it's also a very good idea. Like I said at the beginning, it must involve because they were brainwashed. So we also need to brainwash them positively. They need to be brainwashed positively, which of course I believe that's what the army is doing presently. We also need to brainwash them positively. We need to understand that the human works like a computer, so to speak. What you want to see on the system is what you are put inside the system. If you don't put something in the system, you don't expect to see it come out of it. So I believe that the army is doing quite a lot of work here. My concern, when I started out, my concern had been that I hope, it's done in totality and that we won't be left with bad eggs still amongst them, serving as informants for these other guys who are still outside there. I also want to encourage that all hands should be on deck and they should be watched. Every one of them should be watched closely, not as a group, but as individuals. The program has so far graduated over 1,000 clients, including 16 foreign nationals who have been successfully reintegrated by their nationals and state governments. A total of 559 new clients are currently going through the DRR program at the DRR camp in Gombe State. Speaking further, the military chief noted that the approaches, practices, procedures, strategies, and tactics of the military in its insurgency operations had continued to evolve to effectively tackle the amorphous nature of the threat. According to him, the initial response was a single service operation that was limited to only the formations and units based in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State. However, as time passed, several task forces were formed, eventually leading to the formation of a theater command with several components, including a naval task force and an aviation task force to weaken the insurgents. Well, I believe that I want to believe that they're doing quite a lot of work in that area just to put these insurgents where they belong. In furtherance of this objective, says we are committed to forging stronger synergy between the services and other security agencies. All of these efforts have re-energized the fight against the insurgents and the AFN has continuously made progress towards ending the war in favor of the Nigerian government. The CDS said on its party coordinator of OPSC, Brigadier General Joseph Maina, reiterated that the operation began in September 2015 to encourage willing and repentant Boko Haram members to surrender and go through a well-structured DRR program. He said that OPSC was a multi-agency, multinational humanitarian stream backed by Nigeria's constitution as well as international humanitarian and human rights laws, noting that OPSC had admitted over 1,070 clients comprising of 1,064 Nigerians and 16 foreign nationals from Cameroon, Chad, and Niger since 2016. All the foreign clients were transferred to their respective national authorities for reintegration. Presently, there are 559 clients undergoing the program in the camp, out of which 2 clients are Chadian citizens. Well, maybe you wonder why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because we call them clients. Well, I believe the army has a reason why they call them clients anyway, since they are their clients. It is also important to mention that one client was repatriated to the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital for Experts, psychiatry management during the initial documentation stages of the program, he said. I also mentioned that earlier, and that it will require a brainwashing. We need to brainwash them. We need to get them to understand that what they're doing is wrong, why they should have value for people's lives. If their own lives were not valued by others, they will not be standing. They will not even be in this program. If the army or the Nigerian government didn't have value for life, then they probably would not just have brought them into a place and wiped all of them out. But then they should also go out and do the same thing. The same way, just like Jesus Christ said, to some people, you have received mercy. Go and show mercy to others. That's it. That's how simple it is. And so we are being I think the army is doing quite a lot of work. But then your opinion, you should also drop it, your comments as regarding this reintegration into the system, and please let it be clear that the army has said that there is nothing like recruiting ex-Boko Haram fighters into the army or the sister security agencies. So I think that should be clear now, even as stated by the Chief of Defense Staff. Well, this is still Serious Matters on ONIF TV. You are free to drop your comments, and like I would always say, make them simple and civil. God bless you, and I hope you have a very, very wonderful day. We will continue from here